right, let's go. Some Liga MX moves. Mateus Vogus, that transfer was collapsing, but in the end, Cruz Azul made it happen. Big transfer. Carrasquilla, the big Panamanian star, joining Pumas. John Kennedy from Brazil joining Pachuca. Why is Alan Pulido there? I don't get it. Sergio Ramos on the verge of, yes, that's Sergio Ramos. On the verge of becoming new Monterrey player. Hector Herrera going back to Mexico after 12 years to join Toluca. Luca Romero, former AC Milan player, joining Cruz Azul.
Pedro Pineda, former AC Milan player, is that it?
Never made his first team debut, Pedro Pineda, but it's those streets will never forget.
They will never forget.
Pedro
That's
Pineda.
Luca Romero.
You take a look at what Liga MX they've done in this transfer window, and it feels that it used to be Monterrey, Tigres, America. That's it. Now you have other teams acquiring important, heavy fees players. So, Herc, do you feel like Liga MX is having a better transfer window than Major League Soccer?
Listen, they've had their best transfer window in recent memory in terms of the big names that have come to Liga MX. If you have a player like James Rodriguez, who is a Colombian international right now, one of the best playmakers in the world at the international level. Sergio Ramos, who, when it all is said and done, is going to be one of the top Spanish players to ever play the game. That's how good he's been. Real Madrid legend there. And then you've got some good players like a John Kennedy. You've got other players who have come in and who can potentially do very well. But when I look at Major League Soccer, and Major League Soccer is leaving this mold of we're no longer going for the big name. We're going for players at the international market. I mean, Denke, coming from the Belgian League. Irving Lozano, who still has plenty left in his tank. You've got Miguel Almiron, who comes back, who was over 26 million, comes back, for reported 9-10 million. Eric Choupo-Moting, Wilfred Zaha. You've got some massive players. Emmanuel Lat, who just went to Atlanta United, who's like $22 million from Middlesbrough. You're spending quality money on maybe some names that aren't known, but that in the world's market are prime players, and now they're participating in said world market. These are the type of moves that I think makes a league stronger.
I think the tricky part about it is you have to know who you are. And are you a league that buys guys to develop and sell? Or are you a league that's buying people just for the sake of buying people and trying to make your team better and win championships? And I don't know if MLS has quite figured that out yet.
Right.
Who they are, what they are.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah.
There was at one stage where I think MLS had some sort of, kind of internal review, and something like less than 3% of their revenue came from transfers.
Right.
And I think that's changing, but there's a point when you're saying we can't compete with the TV contracts of the big leagues. So what are we? How do we do this? Is it bringing in a Mexican player? Is that going to do it? I mean, tried. Has it ever really worked?
Carlos Vela, probably the most successful.
Right. No, it is on all fronts.
Yeah.
Marketing and the actual production.
Listen, I feel like now, not just this transfer window, but for the past maybe 3 to 4 years, Major League Soccer is also making a splash as a seller.
Correct.
And we saw what happened just today with the confirmation that Cucho Hernandez is going to Betis for $16 million, when we thought maybe Cucho Hernandez was a candidate to make the jump south to play for Monterrey.
You're selling Mateus Vogus to Cruz Azul.
Correct. So now the league has this both angles, right? Yes, we're still gonna go. The rules have changed also
or they can sell to
encourage.
Yes.
Go to South America and find younger players.
Well, and they can sell to each other in MLS. Yes, they were never allowed to do before.
Right.
But I think the thing is you were still in a situation where the majority of MLS players are at their most valuable when they're 18, 19 years old.
Right.
You got to get to the point where they're the most valuable because the league has a high enough level where at 24, 25, you're selling them to the top 4 leagues and they feel they can transition straight into those leagues. Right now, there's still a thought process of we got to get them young, we got to develop them a little more, and then they'll be ready for these leagues.
Yeah.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
Get your level high enough where you don't have to take that that kind of in between. You're not selling a player to Chelsea and then he's being loaned out to 7 teams. You're selling a guy to Chelsea because they say,
oh, that's still
he's
happening.
my first team player.
You know, Caleb Wiley, we just saw that right now. He's loaned out Watford again. Chelsea's loaning him out.
Yeah,
we're still seeing that, but that's part of the process. Now, I think there's a few reasons why we're seeing this on both sides. Now, MLS, I think they understand they have a small window to capitalize on Messi mania. You got to capitalize while Messi's still in the league. So get these players in and do something so they can see these players. You can succeed on the field, off the field. While Messi is still here, capitalize while the iron is hot. That is one for Major League Soccer. And Liga MX, if you look at these players who are coming, the James Rodriguez, the John Kennedys, the Sergio Ramos, what teams are they going to, Mal? They're going to the teams they're going to play in the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
They understand that that's their window to make a name for themselves.
But let's be honest,
James
James has been a disaster at club
but
level.
he's still a massive name in Latin America. And
he's made an impact in León so far.
Good.
And he's
been good.
And on
He's
the
been surprisingly good.
And on the national team with Colombia, I mean, he's the star attraction.
That's never been a question.
And that's
National
a very
team
good,
level has never been a question.
But what I'm trying to say is that's still a very relevant national team.
Okay, but you talk about James Rodriguez, Sergio Ramos. Those used to be, and don't get me wrong, but that was the reputation of Major League Soccer. A player like James Rodriguez no longer fits at the European level. Major League Soccer is going to call. Sergio Ramos no longer finds a place at that top level, finds a house in Major League Soccer. But now, Liga MX is also becoming a destination for those star players. Now, the question is it because of the money is not comparable? There's still way more money in Major League Soccer than Liga MX, but
only for a handful.
Yeah, because think about this.
Not across the board.
Not all 30 teams, right?
Sergio Ramos is going to make $4 million, right, a year. Net. That would mean he'd need to make $7.58 million.
Don't want to go through the Mexican IRS system, but yeah.
Well, no, but he's going to get paid his net, okay? If you come to the States, imagine he plays California. And you're going to give him the same $4 million.
Yeah, he's paying 65% tax, and
There's no comparison when it comes to the money for those players. Now, yes, you're right. In general, there are some players in Major League Soccer that can make a lot more that they're not going to make. Cucho Hernandez would never make that money before he's Cucho Hernandez of the club.
That's why I wondered if without the Club World Cup, those players would still choose Mexico before
I
Major
still
League
have
Soccer.
a big question.
I don't
with the
think
Club
so.
World Cup. No,
How come?
Well, because it's brand new. None of the big boys wanted to go to it. They actually talked about striking and not being a part of it. You're still looking at a whole bunch of games that aren't really sexy, and you're throwing all these games out there.
Teams are going to make a lot of money. Gianni Infantino is going club to club, campaigning and explaining, listen, we need you to be okay participating in this tournament, not only because it's good for FIFA, but because you're going to make this much money.
Right. Now, does that still mean it's going to be great games?
Oh, that's a different conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that's a completely different conversation. Now,
I hope so. I mean, I really do.
We all hope so. But, I mean, once you hear Carlo Ancelotti barely complains, except today about refereeing, that's a part. The only other instance where Carlo Ancelotti was very vocal complaining was about Club World Cup. And then Florentino Perez said, no, it's fine. We're going to be a part of that.